Ladies and gentlemen, we are now talking to co-founder of All-22 Fantasy Football. He's driving. Well, he's not driving. He was driving when his partner was on the show. The one and only Chris Lombardi. Chris, what's up, man?
Dude, doing fantastic. You got me like craving steak now. I'm sitting here hungry.
Well, that's good. Now what you got to do is you go to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network, or you can hit the Omaha Steaks website and hit Jabba in the mouth. And ladies and gentlemen, 10% off an Omaha steak, which is the best in the world. And by the way, we're going to be working on some things over the next couple of weeks, probably next month or two, where we're going to be doing something at American Whiskey. And if we do that, Jabba's going to come down, and we might give you an opportunity to win your very own Omaha steak. So there you go.
Actually, I got an announcement too. I've got a $400 giveaway from Omaha Steaks that we will be showing up on our Twitter and my Twitter, and comes with a knife and a meat beater, whatever you want to call it. I like to call it a meat beater. And you can pick between 3 different types of deals. You type in the code that comes with it. We'll ship it to you, and then you guys get to pick it. So be looking for that. We'll do that here soon. Tenderizer, yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oops. I like meat beater better.
I like the meat beater. Speaking of beating meats, ladies and gentlemen, your All-22 is now over. I don't know about beating meats. Speedy knows all about it, and hopefully,
I only know bending meats.
Oh, you bend meat?
I was the meat bender.
That's right. But do you bend meat and beat it?
I don't know. Jabba's the meat beater. I'm the bender.
Well, if you want him to beat your meat, I'm just kidding. Anyways,
I don't want
no, time out. No, none of that meat beating over here.
Got a double denial.
Chris, obviously, let's get into some fantasy football. And the number one player in this year's fantasy football was Ja'Marr Chase. Now, obviously, well-respected in the league as one of the top 3 wide receivers, and having the season that he had, Joe Burrow getting his new contract, T. Higgins, this team could be explosive. But are they going to be as explosive as they were last year? And why was Ja'Marr Chase over Saquon Barkley or Bijan Robinson, who was sensational all last year and very healthy? Why do you think fantasy and football put him as the number one guy, Ja'Marr Chase?
Yeah, it feels like things have changed over the last few years where receivers are starting to get a lot more love than they used to, right? And this is a time when, people are changing the rules a little bit. They're giving some points for receptions and things like that. So I think it's just a little bit more glamorous. People have just been hurt too many times by running backs. I mean, it's every year that running backs go down with injuries. Yes, Bijan stayed healthy last year. So did Saquon. But, I mean, if you've had Saquon in the last 5-6 years, you know that it's a rarity when he plays a complete season. And most running backs, that is going to be the case, where receivers nowadays, especially a guy like Chase, who's tough as nails, right? Like, they do stick around. They stay on the field. I'm saying all that. Meanwhile, his teammate T. Higgins misses a lot of time, right? So I do think it's by the player. You guys were talking about it before, though, right? Like, Elijah Vera Tucker is out for the season again, right? Players that get hurt tend to get hurt again and again and again. Saquon, again, had a most unbelievable season last year, but it's a blessing when he stays healthy. You go the receiver route, especially one that stayed healthy, a guy like Ja'Marr Chase. Makes all the sense. But you guys just had your All-22 draft, right? Like, who went first in your draft?
So Joe Burrow went number 1 overall to our friend Shane Hallam, big NFL draft guy.
Hallie Lou, baby.
Yes.
Hallie Lou.
And
he won last year, didn't he?
No, he was in the finals. He lost by, I think, less than a point to the commissioner that now ditched us.
The little bastard he is. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So that was the problem. That's why I kept messaging you, Chris. We lost 5 teams as a result of that, and we finally had our draft as a result today. Errol actually had the number 2 pick, and I drafted him Lamar Jackson because he couldn't make it. I gave him Lamar Jackson.
Lamar is mine, baby. Yeah, let's kick ass tonight. Let's kick ass today. Let's kick ass all season. I'm sorry, I just had to do that.
And by the way, Ray.
I'm not licking anyone.
By the way, Ray must have encouraged his friend Yvonne, who just joined the league late, to draft the Gremlin Travis Hunter.
Irrelevant.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
love that.
So when Ray was on the show a few weeks ago, Errol and him got into a lot of it with Travis Hunter, with what type of player he's going to be. And I was curious what it went for All-22 because I'm like, oh, is he going to be both positions?
I don't care.
But he's only listed as a receiver. But yeah, let's stay on that. What is your thoughts with the Gremlin Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter, I mean, I like him. I'm excited for him. I mean, he likes to dance in practice, and he's obviously a big personality, but there's just no denying how talented
keep building
he
this,
is.
Chris, please, because Errol's just getting more mad. I love
Not
this.
me.
This is
I'll keep going, man. I mean, I do
Perfect, yes.
think there's a chance that this is the best year by a country mile that we see from Trevor Lawrence, right? Maybe Travis Hunter only ends up having 800 receiving yards, but if it makes Trevor Lawrence is what I meant to say. If it makes Trevor Lawrence significantly better, then it's worth it, right? And I think if they win games, and what happens when you have a receiving duo like Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, it's going to result in winning games, and it's going to result in Trevor Lawrence really being a better player. That's what matters. Will he end up playing some defense too and make the defense a little bit better? Maybe. I mean, I'm excited for it. I'm curious, Errol. What's with all the hate?
Oh, here we go.
First of all, here's the reason why I don't like him. I was there at the Heisman Trophy. I got a chance to meet the guy. He's a complete ass, and he stands there like he's done something. He shouldn't have won the Heisman, first of all. I thought Ashton Genty should have won the Heisman. He was the best player in the country. He put up the numbers. He deserved it. And a lot of people, both quarterbacks, believed that Travis Hunter shouldn't have won. And he only won because he's a prima donna and he's Prime's little boyfriend. That's the facts, okay? And the fact that Prime came out and tried to compare him to himself, he is not Deion Sanders. He will never be Deion Sanders, and he needs to stop believing that he is. And Deion Sanders has got to stop telling people that he's not, that he is. I do believe Travis Hunter is a lot better than I say he is, but 7 years will be the longest he is in the NFL. I think the guy is nothing but a crybaby, opens his mouth too much, and teammates and players are not going to like him, and they're going to make sure that they bust him in the jaw. He's the kind of guy that reminds me of Geno Smith. Remember what happened to Geno Smith when he was a New York Jet? I do remember. His linebacker punched him in the jaw and broke his jaw, and he was out for the season because he didn't pay $500 on a bet he lost. Travis Hunter's one of those guys. My statement here is I don't like the guy. I met him, so you're going to say, well, you don't know him. I don't know him. I met him. He's an ass.
Well, one thing I will say, because I have not met him, but I think he is definitely a better cornerback than he is a wide receiver, and I think that the right thing to do would have been to make him a full-time corner and a part-time receiver. Obviously, the Jags didn't do that.
Told you.
But we'll see, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens. I will agree with one thing you said as well, is that if you watch the college tape, there are times where he's going in on a tackle and he gets bulldozed over by somebody and it looks like his chest got caved in, right? So, like, will this guy actually stay healthy for a full NFL season? It's different in college, right? Like, I played college football. I'm 160 pounds. Like, you will face guys that will never see the NFL field, right? Mm-hmm. When you get to the NFL level, these guys hit different, right? And when you play against that all the time, like, again, he didn't play against receivers like Jamar Chase every Sunday. Like, that's going to be a problem for a guy like Travis Hunter, just in terms of the physicality. He could guard him, but he's going to take some shots.
Chris, when he was a defensive player last year, he didn't play one top wide receiver in the country. Go look at the teams that he played. They weren't top SEC teams. I mean, honestly,
their conference was garbage.
It was garbage. Yeah. He didn't beat anybody. And I know
he had some reps. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he had some reps. Maybe it was his junior year, but against Teterow and McMillan.
He actually played well in that game, but that was like the only one that was like a big name receiver.
Yes, and again, he's got to do it every single week. Is he going to be able to compete every single week against the elite guys in the NFL? And by the way, the elite corners, is he going to be able to deal with Sauce Gardner? Is he going to be able to deal with Patrick Surtain when they're defending him as a wide receiver? That's the question.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same. And Chris, you bring up a great point. It's like in his schedule and whatever, yeah, he faced maybe one of those. Now you're going to face that one guy on a whole team of them. And is his body going to be able to hold up? I mean, he's not the biggest of dude. Obviously, I've only seen him on TV. I haven't seen him in person. So, but just comparable to some of the guys he's going to go against in the competition that he's played, like, yeah, he may have got to face that one dude, but now you're going to face all the dudes from the team. And we were talking earlier about how is he going to get 60% on the field, and is his body going to hold up, and do they want him to do that? Because it's going to be different. He says he's ready, but when you actually strap it on and get to work, time will tell. And Is he talented? Yes. And let's not take anything away from it. As much as Errol wants to talk, like as he just said, he's like, yes, he is good.
He's got leg for stilts. They're toothpicks. Okay, I met him. They're like toothpicks. I don't know how this guy thinks he's going to last in the NFL more than 5, 6 years.
Have you seen some of the guys' legs though? They're not. There's a lot of guys that they're not very big.
I agree.
Yeah,
with
like
you.
I think Devonta Smith is a good comp for him, right? In terms of like what he can actually be as a receiver at the next level. Really good route runner, but you really depend on your athleticism. And Devonta Smith himself has been hurt quite a bit at the NFL level. And again, if he's going to try to do it on both sides, like I think injuries start to stack up. Unfortunately, I think he should stick to corner, but that's not going to happen.
See, this is why I like you, Chris. This is why me and you have a connection. I mean, your partner over there, we go at it, and I go at it with you sometimes. You are. I mean, your partner over there has his own interesting, comments and his takes with Travis, the Gremlin. He has like this love fest for the Gremlin. You, on the other hand, you like him, but you kind of don't. So I think me and you have a connection here. I think me and you could be buddies. Your buddy over there, we can smack each other, or I'll smack him around a little bit.
Damn, so you guys aren't buddies now? Like it took Travis Hunter to get you guys to be buddies? Damn, Errol. That's
Jabba, I'm feeling hurt over here, man.
No doubt. Damn.
I'm a New York guy too. Like we could get drinks after work one night. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, we're friends now. Don't worry that you Travis Hunter hate a little.
But,
okay, we're good. Yeah, guys.
But I'll tell you what, Ray has a lot of hard opinions, and I deal with it. Like having arguments with Ray all the time, man. I got gray hair, so I get it. Trust me.
Chris, think of it as the solace this way. There's a lot of ex-football players we have on the show that every interview will take a shot at the Jets. So if there's ever one that sticks up for the Jets, he'll like them.
All right, so here's the thing. And I want to say this to all the guys and all the gals that come on this show, and for some reason, the first thing they attack when they find out I'm a Jet fan is, hey, the Jets suck. They're a terrible organization. I know they're a terrible organization. I'm always down on the New York Jets. You have all these different radio show hosts. They're all over social media. There's millions of Jet fans following them. And why are they listening to the garbage that they're listening to? No matter what, they're going to stink until this team finds themselves a quarterback, and he is going to be consistent. They're never going to win. So, and that's the facts. They're a good defensive team. They're built very well offensively, except they need another wide receiver. But they don't have a quarterback. And I like Justin Fields. I don't know if Justin Fields is the guy, the future guy, where they're going to win themselves a Super Bowl. That's the only problem. And by the way, congratulations to Brickashaw Ferguson as they built a street here in Freeport. They called it the Brickashaw Ferguson Street. So congratulations to DeBrick. Very well deserved. One of the best offensive tackles to come out of Long Island, New York, and he's a Hall of Famer. Only missed one game in 9 years. It is sensational, and he was great when he came out of college as well. So I had to add that. Jabba, your turn.
Yeah, no, I love when you get fired up, but no, it's fun going into this, seeing like all of, the previews and guys and what they're going to do. Obviously, we can cliche of we see all the time, health is one thing. Is there? I love talking about fantasy because it's always like this guy knows better. He did his research. Is there one spur that like kind of just rose its head in the draft that would probably surprise you in the take that you would have, Chris, on the drafts, and who would that be? Because I'm interested, because there's always like one that stands out to people.
That's a great question. I mean, again, All-22 is a bit different. I'm going to answer as an All-22 player, right? Because I'm going to do things a little differently. But Josh Simmons is an offensive tackle for the Chiefs that, again, in All-22, you can draft offensive linemen, so offensive tackle sticks out. He's one of the players that during the preseason and during the draft process, Ray and I both agreed, like, he was by far the best offensive lineman in the draft, in our opinions. Obviously, Will Campbell goes to the Patriots like 5 overall or something like that, and Josh Simmons goes at the end of the first round. But now you're starting to kind of hear, right? Like, oh, Josh Simmons is impressing a lot of people in practice. Oh, in his first 3 preseason games, he has an 84 pass blocking game. In those 3 preseason games, like he's showing people like, hey, I'm going to be a starting offensive lineman at the next level. And guess what? The Chiefs in week 1 are starting him at left tackle. So in terms of like a sleeper, offensive line is really hard to get right. And you just like the NFL just gave Patrick Mahomes a starting left tackle when like maybe that could have been their team's Achilles heel, right? It's a classic mistake. Classic mistake. You guys were talking about the Bills earlier. They drafted Maxwell Harrison in the first round, right? A cornerback, but like a total question mark of a cornerback. He's just kind of got speed. And then Josh Simmons, a starting left tackle, goes to the team that's, perennial Super Bowl favorites now. That's the player to me, Jabba, just like, again, talking from an All-22 perspective. If you slept on Josh Simmons and he's like available, go get him, go make a trade for him. He's going to be a great player. But if you're asking me from traditional Isaac Tesla, the receiver for the Lions, people are starting to talk about him a little bit, right? I was totally shocked, right? This is a guy that basically had zero production in college, gets drafted in the third round. The Lions trade 3 third-round picks, essentially, to go get Isaac Tesla in the third round. And he kind of proved all of us wrong, right? In his preseason games, I think he had 3 touchdowns. He led the league in preseason touchdowns. It's preseason. It doesn't matter that much. But guess what? He's a starting wide receiver on the Lions now. And that's a really explosive offensive team. So I think there's a lot of people now starting to regret how they kind of let that guy slip past them. Maybe this guy's going to be something. Again, not somebody I was super high on. So I think that answers your question a little bit more specifically. I wasn't a huge fan of him, but now you kind of have to take notice and say, maybe this is a guy that's going to make a difference, come week 4 or 5 down the season once he starts to get his feet under him.
We are talking to co-founder of All-22 Fantasy Football, Chris Lombardi. He's a friend of the show. We love him. He's definitely an interesting personality we've had on the show quite a few times. Chris, I've been back and forth with Mikey C. Mikey C and me went back and forth for an hour and a half today talking about our drafts, and he has this love fest for Christian McCaffrey. Now, he says by the power of schedule, San Francisco is going to be a lot better than people say they're going to be, and Christian McCaffrey is going to be everything to that offense. I think he's on drugs. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to be good. Is he going to be I think he's a top 3, top 4 running back, but he's making him out to be like, this guy could be up for MVP this year. Your thoughts to Christian McCaffrey and the power of schedule, and do you think that this offensive line is going to hold up enough for Christian McCaffrey to actually stay healthy all season long?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's kind of like $1 million question in reality, because I bet you there's about $1 million worth of bets that are kind of banking on Christian McCaffrey being healthy this season. Goes to the conversation we had earlier, right, in terms of my thoughts. If a guy gets injured over and over and over again, why am I going to bank on him all of a sudden a year older being healthier, right? They just made a trade for Brian Robinson Jr. from Washington. Yes. And it's, to me, like, that's a decent running back to go make a big trade for. That tells me that they also think, like the 49ers think, that they need to at least take some of the workload away from Christian McCaffrey. Because in order to keep him healthy, they need to run him less. So I don't expect him to get total bell cow carries all game, all season long. I just don't expect that. Will his carries then be more valuable? Potentially. But again, that's banking that he stays healthy for 17 games. I just don't see that happening. I think I'm on the minority on that. People seem really high on him this year. I'm not one of those people. I think that when running backs start to age, I walk away, right? I want those young guys. I'll go take risks on rookies before I take a guy like Christian McCaffrey, just because youth matters at the running back position so much more than just about anything else.
So I want to go to the news that I'm sure you're excited about. As a Packer fan, they get Micah Parsons. Where does that put them in the NFC and Super Bowl contending process?
Super Bowl winners, man. Let's just talk about it, right? Super Bowl winners. That's all it is. It's either Super Bowl or bust. Micah Parsons is a Packer. Ray is on 24/7 suicide watch as a Cowboy fan, and I'm very, very happy. I mean, guys, like Micah Parsons, you look at the analytics, right? They said that EPA per game, when Micah was on the field, the Cowboys were the best defense in the NFL. When he was off of the field, they were the worst team in defense in the NFL. You give that to a Packers team that already kind of had Super Bowl aspirations, and you have to think that this defense goes from kind of middle of the pack to potentially one of those like top 5 defenses. I still think they got some holes on defense. They need some cornerback help. They need guys to step up, right? They really haven't had that in a few years. They took bets on guys. Jari Alexander leaves in free agency. Lucas Van Ness didn't become anything. Like, they haven't really developed, but they've had like 11 first-round draft picks sitting on that defense. You add a guy like Micah Parsons, and all of a sudden maybe you start to see things spark. Jordan Love is ready, right? Like, I think he's going to take the next step after a down year last year when teams started to kind of figure him out. but you add Matthew Golden, you get him what should be a much more unique route runner, a nuanced route runner than anything they've had with some serious speed. There's no reason that it doesn't happen. I'm sitting here today saying, go put your money on the Packers, guys. Go put your money on the Packers.
Well, you're a Packer fan.
Wow.
Stop trying to sell us here.
Yeah. I was just going to say, all the money on the Packers coming from the Packers fan.
Are you in a Packers hat, buddy?
No, I'm not. I wish I was, but I'm not.
Chris, what's the one thing, like, obviously going into the season, but what's one thing you look forward to as this season gets going? Because there's always, different parts of the game that get certain people excited. Like, once you get all of this out of the way, like, what's the one thing you look forward to once the season gets going?
Yeah, for me, because I'm so into like the scouting community, it's seeing how the guys that I've been watching all offseason and putting like draft grades on, right? These guys finally got drafted. I was just talking about Josh Simmons. In reality, it means nothing until they step on the field and start to show you that they're talented. So for me, every week I'm looking at the rookie players and seeing like what their performance looked like to see if it kind of like matched my expectations or if I was totally wrong, right? Isaac Tesla is another guy. Like I was pretty down on him. If he shows up and does really well, that's something I'm going to kind of check in on week over week. But like also besides that, running a fantasy solution takes a lot of time and energy. I'm so excited to sit down with like Bobby and Ray and like 5 dozen wings and like a case of beer and just watch some football, honestly, right? Like, because when you do what I do and you're like on the technical side as well, you kind of don't get as much time to just enjoy the game of football as you'd like to. I am so excited.
I was just going to ask, do you actually get time to just like be a fan other than like, obviously I get it's your job, your profession, something you love, but like to take a step back and just like, let my brain shut off and just enjoy the game as the game is.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. So I was talking to Ray earlier. Ray and I both have like very young children at home. And I was like, Ray, even if we have to go sit in your house with the TV on mute so that we don't wake up the kids, it'd be great to just like watch a football game together, right? So Thursday, we're going to be having like headphones in, potentially listening to the game just so that we can hang out, eat some wings and like be together. Yes, we always like make an effort to do it. But yeah, all off season, like you don't get to like, Bobby was asking me questions like, oh, like who on the Packers are you excited for? I'm like, dude, I haven't had a moment to look at that stuff because I'm so in the weeds and making sure that the solution is working the way it should be working, making sure that all the players are in the system with the right positions. You wouldn't believe the questions we get 24/7. It's a lot of grind for sure.
We are talking to co-founder of All-22 Fantasy Football, Chris Lombardi. Before we let you go, man, because I know you're a busy guy, and by the way, I'm actually probably going to the Beavs house to watch game number 1 of the NFL season at the Beavits house. So leave it to the Beavs. And hopefully, he's been bothering, by the way. Give me the $150 I shot him.
Yeah, I will.
He gives me nothing but a headache. Okay, when are you going to pay me for fantasy football? Anyways, before we let you go, I got a good question for you. Your friend Ray, all right, has this love fetish for some particular player. Speedy, you know what I'm getting to, right? What did we get into the last time we had Ray on the show? What was the player that he told us, well, slam dunk this year, draft him? Saquon Barkley, okay? So my final question to you, who is your slam dunk fantasy guy this year? If you didn't do your fantasy, you're doing your fantasy draft tonight, or you already did your fantasy, who do you think is the slam dunk fantasy guy this year?
I'm gonna give you a weird answer because you've been saying it like I'm like the weird guy, different thinker. I'm not gonna go with like a guy you get in the first round or even like maybe the first 5 rounds. But I really think Bo-Nix is gonna have an awesome year. He proved that he was way better than everybody thought he was last year, and I was really skeptical of Sean Payton before last year, saying maybe he was just good because he had Drew Brees, right? Like maybe he's not an actual good head coach. Maybe he can't do it with somebody that's not a Hall of Famer. But I'll tell you what, man, like what they did last year together, those two guys, Sean Payton and Bo-Nix, was pretty special. And they add some really nice talent in running back RJ Harvey. They add Evan Ingram at tight end. So you start to give him, they call it the Joker position, guys that can move around and play kind of all over the place for that offense. What if Bo-Nix ends up being like at least like a top 5 QB in the NFL.
Already
And you
said
got
it.
him in round
Already said
10. Like, to me, that's like a really exciting guy that I just don't think people are really talking about. So Saquon, it's a very easy answer. Ray went to Penn State. He's going to give you that answer every single time. I'm going to go a little off the deep end and go with Bo-Nix here.
And by the way, I said, what was it? When he was drafted, that Bo-Nix was going to be a star in this league. I said it.
Okay.
I really believed it. I thought it fit. I watched his documentary on YouTube, and he looks like a straightforward, kind guy. His family is very dedicated to his growth as a player and as a human being. And his parents were so dedicated to his growth as a young kid, not only playing sports, but his schooling and really what he's become as a man, as a professional football player. So it's a really cool story documentary. I got to find out what the name of the documentary is, but it's like a 8-part, 7-part thing. You got a chance all the way to when he was drafted, as he was drafted, number 16, I think it was.
Number 12.
Number 12.
He was the 6th quarterback taken, though.
Yes, number 12.
I'll need to check that out.
To the one and only Broncos. But we really appreciate the time, buddy. And
yeah, for sure.
Let's get you and Ray on the same time so I can start smacking them around or something, and you can help me out.
Yeah,
we can smack them together.
Absolutely, I'm there
like
for you.
like.
Yeah, he ratted you out last time
Yes,
and
he
said
did.
you were too busy for us.
Yes, he did.
Never happened. I would never be too busy for you guys.
No, he
You guys-
actually said you were driving in New York somewhere.
Yeah, he did.
That's probably true. I was probably in the city for work that day. But like I said, guys, I'm in the city sometimes. Love to get a drink with you guys sometime
Absolutely.
after work.
Well,
we should definitely do that.
we're going to be
Maybe
doing a
watch a game.
live show soon over there, and where you could get a chance to meet Jabba and all of us when we do a live show. So we'll be in tuned, and don't be too skeptical about what I was saying before. Oh, there it is, American whiskey right there. His wonderful
Love
bar.
it.
But thank you, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Green Bay Packers fan, Chris Lombardi. No, he's not related to Vince Lombardi. Okay, so I don't know why anybody would think that, but hey, he does have the Lombardi last name. But Chris is a sensational person. I love Ray. I just like building them up and having them attack each other because they're best friends, and they both do All-22. So